What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres. And in today's episode, we have a big one in store for you guys with a very special guest. Today, I am joined by Oregon running backs coach Carlos Locklyn, aka Coach Lock. How's it going, Coach? Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Max. Happy to be on your show, man. Going pretty good.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, obviously, you're one of the new coaches here in Eugene, joining new head coach Dan Lanning on his staff. Got to know you a little bit throughout spring football through press conferences and seeing you in action out there at practice when the reporters were allowed to be there. But kind of what I was hoping to do today, Coach, is just share some more of your story with the Oregon fan base, seeing that you are a new coach on this staff heading into next season, and then get some of your thoughts on the Oregon running backs and kind of what you guys are building here in Eugene. So starting things off, Coach, I just wanted to learn a little bit more about your upbringing. You're originally from Montgomery, Alabama. Just wanted to learn a little bit about your childhood and maybe when football got into the picture.
From Montgomery, Alabama, born and raised there, on the west side of Montgomery. Graduate of the great Sidney Lanier High School there in Montgomery, class of 1996. My childhood, it was fair, hard but fair. Born to a young lady there by the name of Gail Gardner. My mom had me at a very early age, probably around 14 to 15 years old. My uncle raised me. It's been a year and 2 days since he left me. He passed last year, around on 4th of July. He raised me along with my mother, poured all the values that I have. They built that foundation in me. But like I said, from Montgomery, pretty good upbringing. I had to overcome some things growing up in the community that I grew up in, but my story is no different than every other young man that I come across in the profession of coaching. My story is no different from there. It's how I'm able to relate to all of the young men I come in contact with.
Okay, and you've obviously been around football for quite some time. Recently at Western Kentucky and Florida State, Memphis, some of your previous stops. Well, when did football kind of get into the picture for you?
You got guys who love the game of football. You got guys who are in love with the game of football. But I've been in love with the game. You ever get a chance to talk to people that know me, I'm like a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the game of football. So I've been loving the game since my uncle introduced it to me at an early age, around 4 or 5. And I've been in love with it since then. So I love the game, and I'm in love with it. If you ask my wife, she would say that's my first love. And like I said, I absolutely love the game. And I was a good player when I played. I love everything about the game. The biggest thing I love about the game is the relationships, the interaction with people, young men, coaches. That's the greatest thing I love about the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects that go into football. Obviously, me personally, college football Saturdays are definitely my favorite day of the week. You have the exciting offenses, the big hits, the big plays. But for you, the biggest part is what happens off the field, building those relationships. Well, why would you say that is so valuable to you? What do you kind of get out of that?
Well, what I get out of it, I tell all the young men I come across, if the only, especially the running backs, I tell them in my room, if the only thing you learn from Coach Locke is how to run power, counter, inside zone, and how to pass protect, I unfail you, I unfail the God I serve, I unfail your parents, and most of all, I unfail myself. So I try to get these young men. I tell them all the time, the ball gonna go flat one day. The things I'm pouring into you on the field and off the field is gonna carry you through life. No, not it's got to be bigger than football. So that's why the relationship is so important. The relationship part is so important to me. It's just not all X's and O's.
Yeah, certainly want to get these young men ready for what they see on the field, but also what they see off of it, and what awaits them after their time at Oregon or wherever it is that they're playing their ball. So we're getting a little bit of insight into kind of your coaching style and obviously how much you value just the big picture and everything that's going on in every aspect of these guys' life. We've gotten to see you, kind of getting into some guys out there at spring ball, kind of staying on them and being stern. But for people who maybe aren't so familiar with you, how would you kind of describe your coaching style?
Uh, More like a military discipline drill sergeant who doesn't curse. I don't. I can get whatever I want to out of my young man without embarrassing them in front of people, without cursing at them. I don't have to. No, and I don't have a problem with coaches. The coaches who do that, that's their coaching style. My coaching style is my coaching style. But I am demanding. Everybody can't play for me, and I understand that. I demand you give your absolute best because effort doesn't take talent. So I asked my guys to work hard because I work hard, and I wasn't giving anything coming in this profession. So I tell my guys all the time, I'm not gonna give you anything. You're gonna learn how to work in this room. So I'm preparing my guys for life. You got to work. Nobody don't expect for nobody to give you anything because Coach Lock show ain't gonna give you nothing. So my coaching style is I am aggressive. How I coach my young man, but they know I love them, and I tell them I love them, and I show it by my actions, the way I coach them on the field. No, I don't have walk-ons in my room, even though their titles may say walk-ons. I coach them just as hard as the guys who own scholarship. So they just as important. So I tell all my players, all y'all gonna get this foot in you today. Every last one of them, whether you on scholarship or whether you prefer walk on, you gonna get coached in here.
Yeah, I like that kind of equal standing, level standing that kind of suggests with that approach. So you said kind of militaristic, drill sergeant, kind of an approach. And anyone who watches you coach can see that. But obviously, people listening to the podcast or tuning into games maybe don't always see that like the reporters do. But do you think that kind of comes from some of your career experiences with like your background in law enforcement and maybe some of your previous coaches? Is that how you see that kind of manifested still?
Pretty much probably come from my mother and probably my Uncle Ray, who was my first, as I say, my first hero. Both of them served in the military. Um, my family has a military background, and a lot of that has to do with some of it has to do with the fraternity that I joined. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi, and a lot of our principles and things are built off of what how I coach my players. So that's just who I am. That's who I am, not just on the field. That's who I am off the field. I just love leading people and pouring into people. So, and that's my passion. Everything that you see with me is real. Is as advertised. Like I said, this is me 24/7. And like I said, just love pouring into my boys, man. Love pouring into them, and seeing them be successful, and seeing them lock in, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, you've said kind of in the past that's a big part of what you enjoy getting out of the process, even on this podcast, those relationships that you hold so close to you. I remember when you were getting interviewed in spring ball and we were talking to you about just getting to know you a little bit and learning, talking some ball with you. You were saying, I don't stop. My you can ask my wife, I don't stop. I'm always on. I'm always going. So with such a 24/7 schedule, not really taking that much time off. My question for you, coach, is what motivates you at the end of the day, just to get up and do what you do?
Um, the motivation is the journey. My journey to get to this point. I don't get complacent. It's the journey. That's what motivates me. I'm still gonna work just as hard as I was working as I was a guy changing my clothes in the Memphis athletic complex parking lot, working the job at nighttime, working 10, 12 hours and showing up at Memphis every day in the hopes of just getting a t-shirt and a locker. So that doesn't change. That doesn't change. What motivates me is serving these young men. I'm a servant first. I'm gonna serve these young men. I'm gonna serve the coaches that I'm around. Also, not taking this opportunity that God has given me, not taking it for granted, because there's going to be somebody else that come after Coach Locke who's going to take the same path. And I want another coach to be able to say, well, no, what, I'm gonna give this guy opportunity. He displays similar traits as Locke had. I want to give him opportunity because I can't mess this up because somebody coming behind me, and I don't take that for granted. Two guys, like several men, have poured into me for me to be who I am. Mike Norvell down at Florida State, the head coach there, he's one. Josh Storm, the strength coach down there. Dr. Sherman Morris. There's a ton of men who have poured into me. Even there in the city of Memphis, a guy most people might not even know, named Edward Jacobs. He was a guy that taught me out of not stopping to coach. I was going to stop coaching at one time high school level. This guy became a close friend, confidant, and taught me into continue to coach. It's a lot of people who are poured into Carlos Locklyn, the coach. So the only way I could ever repay those individuals who have poured into me is by being successful. And my wife, man, she has pushed me toward doing this the whole time. So the only way I can repay my wife and my children as much time as I take away from them is by working hard and being successful and by pouring into these young men and helping each one of these coaches achieve their dreams.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a very selfless approach from you, coach, whether it be honoring the people that helped you get here today, like family, friends, and coaches, but also I think I'm kind of getting from that you're trying to pave the way for those that are going to come after you.
Yeah, that is important to me. I talk to a ton of coaches, young coaches, GAs, QCs who reach out to me and they ask me the same thing, like, what did I do? I'm like, man, ain't nothing special about me. Not nothing. I just decided to serve and serve in any kind of way that I could, whether it was me serving a head coach or a strength coach or assistant coaches or just serving the players that I was around. Ain't nothing special about me. The only thing that's special is that I decided to serve. Like I said, I'm really big on the relationship aspect. Now on top of that, now I'm a ball coach. I love the game. I'm a ball coach, but like I said, I don't lose the perspective of that in this profession is about people, it's about serving. A lot of time I think coaches forget that. And that's something I'm never gonna be complacent about. Serving the coaches and the individuals that I'm around along with the players.
Yeah, and I think that's a really refreshing, perspective on it with how crazy the college game can get, um, just with everything in the sport. But another thing that I wanted to ask for you, coach, before we maybe talk a little bit more about the Ducks and ball coming up, is if people follow you on Twitter or even just listen to this, I think they can kind of tell you talk about serving that faith is something that is very important to you and I think kind of helps shape your personality. Why would you say that faith is so important for you? Kind of wanted to dig into some of that story.
Well, number one, it's the foundation of who I am. I only sit here and I don't force my faith on anyone. I speak on it and I move about my day. And I enjoy life. Most people on the staff, they'll tell you I enjoy laughing. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy having fun. Like I said, I'm not one of those, as they say in the South, Bible thumping people. I enjoy spreading the gospel, but it's the foundation of who I am. It's what's important to me to be able to share that with people. But that's real. That's who I am every day. Like to me, there's no greater joy, Max, than just man being able to brighten up individuals' day. There's no greater joy than being able to pour in people, man. Like it's the greatest joy in the world for me. It's something that I truly believe in. Like we got our core value words here. Connection, growth, toughness, and sacrifice. Those four words that Coach Landon has, the four pillars of what this program is built on. Um, Connecting with people is something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. I really do. That's something that I wake up every day and something that I focus on doing, helping people. So my faith is just foundation of who I am because I know the things that I been through in life as a young man, as an adolescent, even as an adult, and I know I only sit here in this position because of my faith.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice to get some background there and seeing the story behind the tweets or the devotionals that you post pretty much on a daily basis. So I like getting that perspective from you, coach. I know we have you for about 10 more minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and take a really quick break for those people listening on the podcast, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Ducks Dish Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Ducks Dish Podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres, talking with Oregon running backs coach Carlos Locklyn here in Eugene. Coach, one thing that you wasted very little time on upon getting this job is adding new running backs to this room, to this Oregon roster. Duck fans know that that Oregon loses C.J. Verdell and Travis Dye from a year ago, but wanted to get some of your thoughts on some of these new additions. We heard about Noah Whittington in the spring, but wanted to touch on some of these newer guys that are a little bit more unknown, like Marquise Bucky Irving from Minnesota, Jordan James, and just some of the other guys that you've been able to bring to Eugene.
Well, I mean, we have good backs in the room. Proud of those guys getting here. No, don't want to go without saying something about Sean Dollars or Byron Caldwell, the older guys who've been here at this university. They're great players as well, but we wanted to get guys want to create competition along with added depth. I think competition always good. I tell my guys, don't read your newspaper clippings and don't get complacent, because I'm gonna keep you on your toes. Learn how to be comfortable, but being uncomfortable around me. No, you get comfortable, but you better learn how to be, comfortable being uncomfortable around me. So, because I'm always gonna find ways to push your buttons. I want to challenge you in every way. But Sean Dollars and Byron Caldwell are good backs as well. And then we brought in Noah Whittington, who I had at Western Kentucky. And like I said, another talented young man, great work ethic. Then we brought in Marquise Bucky Irving. It's funny because a lot of other programs are trying to get Bucky, and we're blessed to have him here. Man, great young man, wonderful smile, just a lot of energy. I relate to him a lot because we're similar upbringings, similar mindsets as well. But Bucky is somebody that I met back in 2018, 2019. And we already knew each other, and we kept a relationship with one another. But I told him that if he ever need me, he didn't have to ever come play for me. But if he ever need me, to reach out to me. Well, he went in the portal. He was trying to get my attention, and he reached out to me, and he told me he wanted to come here and play for me. And he's here. I'm happy to have him. Blessed to have him. Then you have Jordan James, who's a freshman running back, who's from the Nashville area, played at Oakland High School. Well, I offered Jordan back when I was at Florida State. So I already had a prior relationship with him. I've probably been knowing Jordan since he's been in about the 9th or 10th grade. And just like I said, big on relationships. Happy to have him. Big, explosive running back. Has a bright future, works hard, quiet kid, goes about his business, and I'm super excited to have him a part of the room as well. And then, like I said, we got 2 other freshmen that came in the room. One name is Preston Alford. Like I said, he's a preferred walk-on, but I treat him just like he's one of the scholarship kids. I think he has a bright future. Here, happy to have him. He's from Dripping Springs, Texas. And then we have Ellis Bynum, who is from up the road in Portland. I mean, fine young man, works hard. And I'm just excited about the running back room in general. And like I said, we got some really good backs in the room.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the on-field product looks like, and just what that Coach Locklyn running back room looks like. One guy I just wanted to ask you about, Coach. We learned a little bit about the backstory and the relationships that you have with these guys, but with Bucky in particular, his story coming over from Minnesota, took over after the lead back. I'm forgetting his name right now. Had an injury last year and just put on a show. What is it about Bucky's game that you think sets him apart?
He reminded me of some of the playmakers that I had in the past, in particular probably Kenny Gainwell. Similar skill set. Great short area burst and quickness. Able to make the first guy miss, can line up in the slot, catch the ball. I just like the kid mindset, tough. He's about to work, and I see that every day when I watch him run, when I watch him lift. He reminds me a lot of Kenny Gainwell, who we had there in Memphis. Similar skill set. Just overall, just a good player. I like his toughness, though. You talking about a tough kid? This son of a gun tough. To me, him and Whittington probably are similar in skill sets. One may be faster than the other one, but similar skill sets, but just tough-minded kids. Along with Byron Caldwell and Sean Dollars, all those kids, they're similar in certain skill sets, but like I said, you want to play for Coach Locke, you better be tough. And like I said before, I am not coaching, and I took this quote from a coach there in Memphis named Coach Slocum. As a high school coach there in Memphis. I took this slogan from him, and it's something that I live by. I refuse to coach soft batch cookies. I will not do it. I would not. I would not do it. I would not do it. You better have a will and toughness in your heart to go out there and compete, because that doesn't take talent. That's just pure will. And if you don't have that, I'm the wrong coach to play for, because I'm going to challenge you. If anything about the running backs in this room here at Oregon, the Coach Landon, this his team, them my babies in there, the running backs, they going to be tough. They going to be tough. We ain't backing down from nobody. We going to be tough. Now, we may not be the most talented group, but we going to be tough. And we're going to play this game the right way.
Yeah, I love the quote about the soft batch cookies or soft baked cookies. I remember because you said that in one of the first interviews we had with you, and I remember being in that moment and thinking to myself, oh man, that's going to be one that people are excited to see. So I think that mentality with the running backs is one that really fires people up. Just a couple more for you, Coach, then I'll get you out of here. You may have touched on it a little bit, but was kind of looking to see a little bit more with your mentality as a coach. You've talked about your backs taking on your personality. How do you think you kind of see that manifested on the field, and how does that process kind of go down in your eyes?
Well, I've seen it with how they work on the field. I've seen it. And one thing I'm trying to, not trying to, but when you try, I often say you leave room for error. One thing I'm committed to in that room is for these young men learning how to be one. It doesn't cost none of those guys in that room anything to see the success of another one of their brothers in that room. Learn how to be one, because we're gonna be one in that room. And I got this written on my board. We will not be divided in this room. I think the greatest thing that for me is knowing Coach Campbell. Being able to text him, or I got him in the older backs that play here. I got all of them in a group text, and I reach out to him every now and then. But the greatest thing about the backs that he had here and when he was the running back coach here was how together his guys was. Now, today, some of these kids are so impatient. Impatient, like you want it like right now. Coach Landon says something all the time. He said, everybody wants the baby, but nobody wants the labor pains. You know what? Everybody wants success right now, but they don't want to go through the trials and tribulations to get that success that they're trying to reach. I'm just trying to get these young men. I'm focused on them being one. Do your part, be a good teammate, and that's what my focus on. And it's coming along pretty good. Those guys are buying in, and I look towards, Sean Dollars, Byron Caldwell, Noah Whittington, and Bucky Irvin. I look at those four to lead the room and be leaders to the young guys, because all of those guys have played college football, and I challenge them. Like I said, if you was able to talk to any one of them, they'll tell you I'm not the easiest guy to play for. When we out the field, we can laugh, but I hit that field, you better turn it on, because I'm finna get in you. I expect greatness. That's what I expect out of each and every one of my kids. And I ain't just talking about on the football field. I'm talking about in the classroom. When Coach Landon contacted me and said one of my players been 2 minutes late to tutoring, I get my guys on the phone right then and there. If they can't get to tutoring, my guys will tell you, Coach Locke gonna hop in this car, I'll come and get you myself, and you going to tutoring. You're gonna be on time. If I got to take you to class, I take you to class. But like I tell people all the time, Max, man, I ain't nothing but a old high school coach. I represent the high school coaches there in Memphis, Tennessee, because that's how I'm gonna forever see myself. I'm a high school coach. I did it on the high school level, and the biggest thing for me is just, man, loving these young men, man. That's the most important thing for me, is loving and pouring into these young men. Now, it may not keep me in this business for long, but that's all right. If I don't go no further than this, as I always tell people, God has done enough for me. I just want to be an impactful servant to these young men and coaches.
He is Carlos Locklyn, and he's expecting greatness out of these Oregon backs upcoming in the 2022 season. Coach, really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today here on the Ducks Dish podcast. And that's going to do it for us, guys. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at @mtorresports. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Oregon Football Max Torres, where we will also have this podcast. And then make sure you head on over to Ducks Digest to get your Oregon football and recruiting content. But that'll do it for us, you guys. Big thanks to Coach Locke. Make sure you like and share the show, and we will see you guys in the next episode.